All right, welcome everybody to the Wednesday team call. We're going to start off with a video. We're going to do one quick 2-minute video, 2 announcements, and then we're going to go on to our special guest speaker today, who we're super excited to hear from. And so I am going to right now play this video, and I'm going to play it. It's titled August. You may have seen it, you may have not seen it, but I think it's an important video for you guys to see right now. I'm looking for it. Give me 1 second. Okay, here it is. Give me a thumbs up when you can see this screen. Okay, I can see it, right? Okay, this is Gary Vaynerchuk. It is August 2nd, and so I'm going to share this video with you guys, and a shout out to every single one of you guys that is on the call right now. I know we have some that hop on a little bit late, but this video is for you guys on here, and maybe it's something you could share with your teams if they're not on a call with you or they're not showing up at the level that you are. So we're going to listen to this real quick, and then we'll go on to announcements. This is Gary Vaynerchuk, by the way.
I call this video August, and I'll tell you why. August fascinates me. I grew up in the wine business where you did a lot of business with Europe in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was always confused by August because August was the time that I completely got in the zone because I knew everybody was sleeping. And what I mean by that is everybody was on vacation. In Europe, all my vendors, they were gone the whole month, ghost. In the US, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there. And, it was really interesting. I just really used it as my time to get ready for that fourth quarter, right? People came back in September and they were just rolling fast for that prime time. I was in retail. For all you young hustlers out there or old hustlers out there, August is the month. This is the month where guys, I'm taking plenty of time with my family. This is when people really slow it down. Look for those out of office replies because they're on the up during August. And if you're watching this video right now, and if you want it as bad as I hear you want it, and if this is your year, and if 2017 is going to be your year, and if this is your moment, and if you're sick and tired, and it's your time, then my friends, you need to understand that these 30 or 31, these 31, I think, 31 days, hope that's right, in August, these 31 days in August is exactly when you triple down, when you 4X, 5X down in your hustle while everybody's at the pool drinking rosé. This is when you put in the grinding hours and get ready for your master plan. August, my friends, is always, always the month that sets the tone for your future, for all the people that are complaining or disappointed at where they're at. Now, I'm going to flip you a little bit. August is also the month for all those people that are content, got bags under their eyes, hustled all year, crushing it. It's a very strategic month to kind of go into that rest period. Get a little sun, play a little tennis, play in the pool with your friends, your girlfriend, and your kids. August is such an interesting month for me. You can play it one or two ways, but it depends on where your head's at right now.
Okay. We'll go out of that real quick so we don't get a copyright infringement. Okay. Awesome. So that was Gary V. I don't have to say anything on top of that. I don't think I can match anything that he's saying right there. But we have coming up, I'm talking about coming up, I want to make sure that you know about and are aware of Coach Summit 2018. We want you to be at the Coach Summit with us. And the exact dates, I don't have them right on top of my notes. I wrote them somewhere, but I don't remember where it's at. So if someone knows what it is, comment below. But if you just go to www.coachsummit.com, it'll say the dates right on there. And we want you to come to Summit. If you're serious about building a business, you need to make a decision right now. And this is like a teaching moment on anything. When you make a decision, you could be sitting here right now like, I don't know how I can afford to go to Indianapolis, or I don't know if I can afford the hotel or the ticket or this or that. It all comes down to one thing that I've realized is that when you make a solid decision and commitment, there is always a way. You would always find a way. You can set solid goals, and then you have an entire year to build a business that affords you the ability to travel and do something that you want with your life. So it's time to stop playing the victim and start playing the victor role is what we'll call it. So I want to make sure that you're aware of Summit. It's for everybody. You don't have to be a certain rank. It's for brand new coaches, veteran coaches, everybody likes. So we want you to be at Coach Summit with us and aware of that is coming in next June. www.coachsummit.com. We also have Super Saturday coming up in September, and that Super Saturday event will be, I don't know the exact dates, but I will make sure that we put them up in the team pages. But it is coming up, I believe, the third week of September, the third weekend. I'm going to be traveling from Idaho, 3 hours south to Salt Lake City to be at an event with Tony Horton. So find your local Super Saturday, block that week out so that you can make sure that you are there. The last announcement is, remember that we are opening business in the UK. Team Beachbody Launch UK. Officially, you can sign up a customer or a coach in the UK October 19th. And if you have friends in the UK, you can also get them to the event on October 21st. There's Shanti's there. There's going to be 2 sessions, AM and PM, for the people in the UK. So if you're like you should be, they've been teaching, corporate has been teaching 95% of your time on your business here, but you could spend 5% of your time building relationships and starting a business over in the UK right now, because they can use Beachbody On Demand right now. And all of our programs, they're very aware of Insanity, P90X, and PIO are very big programs there. Millions of people know about them. So it's just a matter of using the techniques we teach on Facebook and Instagram to find them, build a relationship with them, help them for free inside of a group right now. And they could be your potential customers / coaches at the October event. So I want you to be aware of that and know that that's going on. I've been working on that for 2 months now, along with my business here in the US and Canada as well. So be aware of that and understand that. Now I want to introduce you to our special guest speaker today, Beth. Beth, I'm excited about this call because I talked to Beth a few months ago about, hey, when you hit your rank of Diamond Coach, we're going to have you as a guest speaker on the 30-minute mentor call. And that was a goal that she set for herself. And what I want you guys to know is there were 2 times that I know specifically that she was all lined up. Like, I'm going to be a Diamond on Thursday morning. And something fell through and it didn't happen. So instead of being discouraged and quitting or slowing down or backing off the goal and saying it's too hard, she overcame it, worked super hard, and she accomplished that goal on the Thursday of Summit when we were in New Orleans. So her topic today is stop with the excuses. You're not really too busy. She's a wife. She started her coach journey in June of 2016. She's a Diamond Coach. She's Miss Texas 2014, Miss United States 2014, Miss Oklahoma 2016, full-time PhD student and an academic counselor and instructor of the University of Oklahoma. So with that being said, Beth, I'm going to pass the time over to you.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Very good. Well, I hope first and foremost, not all of you will hold it against me that I work at the University of Oklahoma. I'm a Texas girl at heart, so I'm still adjusting to the what is Oklahoma, and the University of Oklahoma comes in full force with that. So I'm so excited to be speaking on this call today. I want to start out by just kind of introducing myself a little bit, kind of reiterating some of the things that Scotty touched on, and then I want to move into my message. And I feel like it's really important for me to kind of share a little bit of my background with you as far as how my journey to Beachbody, because I feel like although it's not super unique or touching, I do think that it plays a role in not only how I've been able to overcome some obstacles and challenges that I know all of us as coaches face, regardless of your rank or years in the business, but more specifically why I feel so passionate and confident enough, honestly, to be able to share this specific message with all of you today. So like Scotty said, my name is Beth Isbell. I'm a wife, #dog mom, a full-time PhD student working on some research, an academic counselor and professor here at the University of Oklahoma, former pageant queen, that's what we like to call a has-been, and a Diamond Beachbody coach, a newly ranked Diamond Beachbody coach. So I'm going to share my story with you all a little bit. We'll move into the message, and then I'm going to leave you with 5 very specific takeaway points. If you're anything like myself, you like to walk away with something that is, super concrete and tangible, and something that you can look at as a reminder every day, or on those days when maybe your excuses start to get the best of you, to help you really push forward. So first and foremost, I grew up in a little suburb right outside of Houston, Texas, on what we would like to call a mini farm, if you will. And I know it's really hard to believe that anything that involves the word Houston or around Houston, that it has like a rural area and a rural part, but it does, I swear. I wasn't involved in sports or anything athletic growing up. Conversations about how to eat clean or how to stay healthy were not conversations that were had. in our household. It just wasn't a part of our life. My sister and I went to school, we came home, and we took care of the livestock, and then, we ate whatever was convenient or easy for that evening because we didn't eat until the animals had their dinner first. So although I was never what most would consider overweight, which, that means that you're healthy, right? If you're not overweight, it never dawned on me that there was something, wrong with my health. But then, we hit that good old ripe age of about 22 or 23, specifically women, where our metabolism just kind of decides to hate us all of a sudden, and it kind of just turns off. So about 30 pounds heavier, I, like most, used that lack of physical confidence that I had developed or lost, essentially, as an excuse to start my fitness journey. Mind you, it's for my own shallow reasons. I didn't care how healthy I was. I just wanted to fit into my high school jeans again 4 years later, or so I thought. As I matured and I continued to spend hours, walking around the gym, staring at all those machines that I wasn't really quite sure how to use, and as I continued to force feed myself broccoli and chicken and rice because I thought that was the only way that I could shed a pound or two, I realized that something had to give. I wasn't happy. I had muddled my way through a few really huge life changes. I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I graduated graduate school. I'd gotten married. We bought our first home. I'd started my first big girl job. I moved to a new state and started my PhD program. Life was really good, but I wasn't. And I didn't realize that until I recognized this sort of ever-evolving vicious cycle that I was in. I was competing in pageants and fitness competitions to force myself to stay on track, because here's an example for you. I competed in Mrs. Texas in 2014. It was like in May of that year, and I won, which forced me to stay on track to compete at the national pageant Miss United States, which was that July. But then guess what? Miss United States came and went, and so did 15 pounds of really unhealthy bad habits sort of filtered back into my life because I didn't have anything to sort of hold me accountable and to teach me what balance in life really was. So then guess what I did? I entered a fitness competition. But then guess what? That came and went too. And I was your classic yo-yo dieter. I would not eat for days, and then I would binge eat for 3. And I know that that's something that, whether you're a coach or not, that you could possibly struggle with. And it was just like a rinse and repeat. And I had no idea what I was doing or where my life was headed. And as I stood there searching for the next, essentially, registration to help my overweight, unhealthy self feel good again, I met a friend. My friend, who I thought at the time was just a salesperson for a shake company. I knew she did some workouts at home. This friend is actually a lady that I met through my current job. I like to kind of joke with her sometimes and tell her that I took her job because the position I have here at OU right now is her previous job. She quit to coach full-time and stay at home with her kids. But she talked to me for months about doing the workout program with her because I had kind of voiced some of my struggles with her about how if I wasn't competing in a pageant or entering a fitness competition, like I couldn't stay on track, and I hated what I saw in the mirror every day. And so she had talked to me for months about doing the workout program with her, and she gave me some samples of Shakeology, and I still wasn't convinced that I could get the results I thought I needed from working out at home, and I definitely wasn't about to spend over $100 on it. And I was totally that customer, right? That customer that when we get their objection or their no or they're not right now, the one that we kind of just shake our heads at, and we just want to like squeeze them through the computer and say, if you only knew. I was that customer. Needless to say, this friend was a really good friend, and she offered to loan me a set of DVDs called The Master's Hammer and Chisel back in January of 2016, so about a year and a half ago. I gave in because, what else did I have to lose? It was free at this point. I agreed to go all in with her for 60 days, and then that was it. I was 60 days with you just to be a good friend, so you'll stop harassing me about this, and we'll be good. And it wasn't until January 4th of 2016 when I pressed play for the first time that in that moment my life changed. And I pressed play every single day for 60 days, and I stayed 100% on track with a nutrition plan, and I had never felt better. I know all of you probably have a similar testimony to that one. physically, mentally, emotionally. It changed my life. It changed parts of my life that I didn't even know needed changing. And I finished that program at the end of February, and I started a 4-month journey into researching what coaching meant. So I finished in February. I signed up officially to become a coach towards the end of June. So for 3 to 4 months, I just dove headfirst. I didn't even have a customer account at this point, keep in mind, because my friend had just let me borrow her DVDs. But I watched YouTube videos. I ran Google Dry searching for information about the coaching opportunity, from the compensation plan to what it even meant to be a coach, to what a challenge group was, because I wasn't even plugged into a challenge group. She literally gave me her DVDs. We texted each other sweaty selfies. We had our own accountability group every day that we would do our workout and help hold each other accountable with staying on track with our nutrition. But I didn't even have a customer account at this point. And I spent almost 4 months researching what was coaching. And I oftentimes look back on that journey now and I kind of laugh a little, because I feel like that's really sort of the PhD student in me and the researcher in me is, making sure that you know all the details, even though, I'm sure some of you who have been coaching for years can attest to the fact that we never really know it all, and that things are constantly, evolving and changing. But when I felt like I got all the answers I needed, I jumped in headfirst with a coach account. And that was June, like I said, towards the end of June of 2016, almost a year ago to date, a little over a year. I ran challenge groups. I hit Success Club 12 in my first month. I hit Success Club 24 in that August Team Cup Challenge. I was a success starter. I earned a free ticket to Summit this year. And in my first 2 months, I signed 14 coaches. But then September, October, November, and December rolled around. And although I was making Success Club 5 a priority, and I'm putting priority in air quotes because that's what I thought it was at the time, I was so focused on hitting Success Club All-Star. So although I stayed on track with hitting Success Club 5 every month, and although I considered myself a business builder, my business was not a business. It was an afterthought before I went to bed in the evenings, and it was a scramble to change 3 lives on the 30th of every month. And I slowly transformed those big, scary goals I had of hitting Diamond in 3 months and hitting Success Club 10 every single month to being complacent and content with Success Club 5. I had these big, huge dreams of, I'm going to go Diamond as fast as I can, and I'm going to hit Success Club 10 and change as many lives as I can a month. And those dreams, as I started allowing September, October, November, December to creep into my life and to wreak havoc and to take control of my life because of my excuses, those big, scary dreams just sort of dwindled down to being content with hitting Success Club 5. And here's the thing, when your big, scary dreams and goals begin to shrink to smaller versions of themselves or even go away completely, it's seriously time to check yourself. Now, school was crazy. We had a lot of changes at work. Those of you that are familiar with the structure of sort of the work that I do, August through December is like a full length semester. So Team Cup ended in August, and then that's why I'm referencing September through December as kind of getting the best of me. School was crazy. We had a lot of changes at the office that I work in. I was teaching for the first time. Family dynamics were changing. Life was hard. It was really, really hard. And although all of those things I just listed are valid facts about my life at that point, instead of leaving them as facts and focusing on my priorities centered within all of those life changes, I turned every single one of them into an excuse. For example, I haven't hit Diamond yet because I have way too much schoolwork. I'm a full-time student. I haven't hit Success Club 10 for more than 3 months in a row because I work full-time. I work 40 hours a week, and then I go to class. Oh, it's so easy for those top coaches because they have superstar Diamond sponsors, and I don't. I can't work my business 2 hours a day because I like spending time with my husband in the evening. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And all excuses are fabricated reasons that I have to defend my behavior, neglect taking action, and to negate my responsibility as a coach. My excuses had excuses. It doesn't get any worse than that. And that's the point I had gotten to. By this point, remember a couple minutes ago, I mentioned that I had signed 14 coaches within my first 2 months. Guess how many of them had left? I had left 2. I had 2 left. And one of those was a spouse account. So technically I had one, and it was just for discount on Shakeology. I had lost 12 coaches from July to December. 10 of the 12 were signed up as business builders. They were ready to work this business. But I didn't uphold my end of the responsibility of being a good leader and providing them with the necessary resources to do just that. I had sort of a 4-week break between that fall semester, which would have been December, and the spring semester, which was January. And I told myself, you know, since I'm not in classes right now and work's a little slow because there's no students on campus, I'm going to focus on my Beachbody business. I created a website. I started blogging. I was inviting, creating content for my team. Oh, but then guess what happened? January 23rd, 2017 rolled around, and with it came every one of those excuses. In May of this year, I was 1 month shy of becoming a Success Club All-Star. And in that month, I sold 2 challenge packs. I helped 2 people. And for those of you who have been coaching for longer than a day know that 2 challenge packs isn't enough for Success Club. I was so devastated. I felt like 11 months of hard work was just washed away. Even though it was my fault, I was still devastated. I got immediately frustrated and mad at how busy I was. I was mad at how the few invites that I sent on the 31st of that month didn't pull through. I was mad that I put so much into the past 11 months to just throw it all away. I even considered canceling my coach account. I mean, after all, I had ruined it at this point, right? There was nothing I could do to change what had happened because, you know, all those excuses. And that's what excuses do to us. They get the best of us, and they force us to sort of put these blinders on to the reality of the situation. And that is what had happened. That's the point I had gotten to. I was this close to jumping on my back office and just submitting a cancellation form and just throwing the ball in. I prayed about it. I reflected on the experience, and I still haven't figured out if it was God telling me to get my act together, or maybe it was my husband supporting me and encouraging me along the way, or it could have just been some sort of epiphany that I had in the middle of the night. But I woke up one day more mad than ever, and that's what it took. It took me getting mad. Not mad that I was busy, or mad that those 3 invites I sent on the last day of the month didn't pull through, but it took me getting mad at myself because I had let myself down. I had lost sight of the vision and the focus of what it means to be a coach and to help change people's lives because I was so focused on just hitting that Success Club 6 number so that I could keep this track that really didn't even have any purpose or meaning behind it anyways. It wasn't my school's fault. It wasn't my Mrs. Oklahoma responsibilities fault. It wasn't my full-time job's fault. It wasn't my students' fault. It was my fault. Because when I wasn't too busy for those things, those excuses didn't get the best of me. We're not really too busy for anything. When we fail to realize our priorities, and when we fail to work those priorities into our lives in the order that they are in on that list, then it's our fault. It has nothing to do with time or lack of time. We all have the same number of hours in a day. I know you all have probably all heard that little catchphrase, we all have the same number of hours in a day. It's what you do with those hours. The freedom that I knew could come from this business, because I've seen it slowly start to creep its way to the top of that priority list for me. So what I did was I wrote that priority list on my computer monitor at home, and I just got to work. I put my head down and I got to work. I addressed every single one of those excuses, the ones that were preventing me from moving my business forward and ultimately from moving my life forward. 2 weeks before Summit, I started waking up at 3:45 a.m. to avoid taking time away from my husband in the evening. I completed my power hour during one of those really early morning hours so that on my hour-long lunch break, I could get my coursework for school done. I utilized the insane resources that we all have access to as coaches, regardless of your rank or regardless of your upline. And the Thursday of Summit, like Scotty mentioned earlier, 2 weeks. It only took 2 weeks after I found the time to make my business a priority. I hit Diamond Rank and Success Club 10 in both my business center and my husband's for the first time. Now, I think the importance and the value behind that is just to prove that when you make things a priority, Scotty mentioned earlier that I came really close to hitting Diamond twice before I actually hit Diamond. And looking back on on how I was so close, I could taste it. And I even sent Scotty a couple messages like, oh, it's going to be tomorrow. I just know it. I've crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's, and he reminded me to do so. And it still didn't happen for me. It's because I wasn't truly reflecting on the priorities that I was focusing my time on. And as soon as I did, guys, it took 2 weeks. And then not only did I hit Diamond, but I hit Success Club 10 in my business center and my spouse account. And I've never done that before. It's really not easy getting out of that warm, cozy bed in the morning at 3:45 or 4 o'clock. I don't wake up with rainbows and gummy bears shooting out of my ears, or excited to sit in a really uncomfortable desk chair for 2 hours just to drive to work, my full-time job, and sit in another uncomfortable desk chair for 8 hours. But what's worth it is this experience and this opportunity that we have. It's worth it because I know I can do this business. Belief has never been an issue for me. I've always known that I could do this. The powerful thing was when I combined that belief with eliminating my excuses and making my business a priority. That's when it all changed. So here's 5 things that I want you to do today to eliminate all of the excuses that are keeping you from moving your business forward, moving your life forward. This is really applicable to any area of your life that you're not able to move forward with because of excuses. The first thing I want you to do is to take responsibility for them. You have to recognize the excuse that's holding you back from whatever that priority, moving that priority forward, or whatever that priority is. You need to take responsibility and ownership over it. You need to write it down. You need to say it out loud, and you need to own it. The second thing I want you to do is to focus on what really matters. I think this really comes into play when we're reflecting on what our priorities are. Sometimes if we just make a big long list of things in our life that is important, we can kind of group those things together to sort of center and focus around one main priority. And then you can start shifting those priorities around to determine where you want to spend your time, effort, and energy. But you have to focus on what really matters. And you have to sort of keep those blinders on to short-term distractions and focus on what's going to matter in the long run. The third thing I want you to do is consider life a training ground. And I know you've heard this before because you're a Beachbody coach. We have to fail forward. Those 2 times that I thought I was going to for sure be waking up those next Thursday mornings and hitting Diamond, I could have let those defeat me. I could have gotten so wrapped up in my anger and frustration like I did before and came this close to submitting a cancellation form. You have to learn from those mistakes, and you have to, it's a trial and error process. You try to run your challenge group this way and you get less engagement, so you try it this way, or you tried your onboarding process this way and that didn't work, so you try it this way. It's what this business is. You have to figure out what works for you, use the resources that you're given, tailor them to fit you and your style, and move forward with it. And if it doesn't work, then so what? So what? Use what you've learned from that specific experience, situation, and move forward. The fourth thing I want you to do is remember your long-term goal. I touched on this briefly just a minute ago. Focus what matters long-term, because the short-term hiccups and challenges and struggles and obstacles are going to be everything that gets in your way to try to stop you and defeat you. And that's the fifth thing, is to expect challenges. Guys, there's going to be hard moments. There's going to be times where during Team Cup, you upped your invites to 50 a day and you got 49 no's. And the 50th one of the day was at midnight after you'd already gone to bed, so you didn't even get to read it. Like, that's a hard day. And those days are going to happen. But like point number 3, if we don't consider life in this business as a training ground to fail forward, we're not going to learn from those moments in order to improve ourselves and improve our business. So just to recap on those really quick, take responsibility, vocalize those excuses out loud, write them down, look at them every single day. Focus on what really matters, consider life as a training ground, remember your long-term goal, and expect challenges along the way. When we expect those challenges, we're better able to overcome them more effortlessly. It's not going to be easy, and it's not always going to be pretty, but I can promise you, with perseverance, commitment, dedication, and discipline, you can do it. So putting an end to all of these excuses, essentially, for me, was just about building self-discipline. Once I figured out my priorities and I had already fostered that belief within myself that I could do this business, it was just a matter of putting all of those excuses to use. And I sort of used it as a competition with myself I was so busy that, you know, being a student and working full time and working this business and then my pageantry work, and like there's just no way I can do all of it. I use that to sort of be in competition with myself. Like, watch me do all of that. I'm going to get a 4.0 this semester. I'm going to do great things at work. I'm going to grow my business. Like, I can do all of this. And once I started pushing those excuses to the side and addressing them one by one, it totally turned around for me. Your life will be better because of it. Your business will be better because of it. And ultimately, you will be better because of it. The time is right now. You can do this business just like I can do this business, and just like Scotty can do this business. You just have to combine that belief within yourself with discipline and tackling those excuses head on. Because I'm proof that 13 months of utilizing those excuses to not in a proactive way and not in a positive way can get you this close to losing something and to losing your grip on something that could totally change your life in the future. So I want to encourage you to just reflect on those 5 things. Think about the excuses that are maybe holding you hostage and captive from really accomplishing all of the goals that you've set for yourself, and even goals that you don't have set for yourself yet. But to really recognize them and to meet them head on and to tackle them, because you never know where you'll be in 13 months from now. So that's pretty much all I got.
That was absolutely awesome. So I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to put you on the spot before I close it out. So where do you see yourself with Team Beachbody and your team in the next 5 years?
Oh, 5 years.
What kind of goal or vision?
I'm just trying to make it through the end of Team Cup, Scotty. No. I definitely hope to have quit my full-time job by that point and utilizing Beachbody as a way to provide freedom in all sorts of avenues for myself and for my family. My husband has big dreams to open his own business one day, so to be able to support him and encourage him, financially, emotionally, mentally, and all of those ways that coaching helps me just be a better person and wife and friend and in general. Honestly, it's really hard to picture what life would be like in 5 years if I keep on the path that I'm on now, that I've been on for what I would say the past 3 or 4 weeks even, and even all the things that I've learned over the course of the past 13 months. It's really hard to even imagine what life would look like in 5 years, but I'm really excited for it.
Awesome. We're excited for you too. That's what I get most excited about. I love hearing about people's goals and their dreams, their ambitions, what they want to do. So I know that you're going to do this full-time one day. I know that you are going to help your husband fulfill his dream and be able to support him in that because of this platform that you have done with Team Beachbody. I wrote down your 5 points. I'm going to give a challenge to everybody inside the team page or on the recording of this video, wherever. I want you guys to write out what some of your big goals and dreams are. And then number 2, I want you to physically write out your excuses. Like, don't just like admit them to yourself. Like, okay, I'm creating this excuse. Like, put it out there to people around you so they can help hold you accountable. We can help hold you accountable. I've been doing that with my accountability partner recently, recently, and it's really helped as well. So I want to give you guys an example. I want to say thank you, Beth. That was absolutely awesome. I love the 5 tips. I'm going to be sharing this with a lot of people. I had about 5 people looking into becoming Team Beachbody coaches that said they didn't have enough time. And I left them a voice memo explaining that I believe that the busy person gets the most done, is the person that gets the most done. And I told them I love that you're busy because I know that you're going to be amazing at this, even though they told me this isn't for them and they're too busy. So I'm going to share this with them. So thank you for sharing those tips. We have another 30-minute mentor series next week. She is going to absolutely bring it. She is a coach who struggled for a while as well. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 months, not all of a sudden, she's going to teach us how, but the last 2 months, she has hit SC 100 every single month for the last 2 months consistently. So she's going to share with us her story, her struggle, and some tips as well. So make sure that you invite your teams to be here with us. And then like Gary Vee said at the beginning of this video, this is the month where you get to set yourself apart. And I think it starts with exactly what Beth talked about. Eliminating, being clear on your goal, eliminating excuses, and let's go out and change some lives, because there's millions of people in the US and Canada, millions in the UK that need our help. They need a home gym. They need a place to work out and live healthy inside their home with their busy lifestyles, right? So thank you once again, Beth. And this call was recorded, and we'll see you guys all inside the team pages and on social media later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.